So today we're going to take a look at a Black Forest clock. What you see here is a Black Forest clock in one of its many forms. Black Forest clock can be like this, round and an open movement, to a bit of the same model but then like square and like it's in a wooden box. What's pretty typical is the dial is painted glass, although some Black Forest clocks do have like also an open movement like this, but then the dial is a piece of wood with some brass on it, with the numbers on it. And since this is an open one, we get a good look at the insides of the movement. But to get a better look, I'm going to take the dial off. So yeah, see you in a bit when the dial's off. So, the insides of a Black Forest clock. You immediately notice that most of the clock is made out of wood. And yeah, most of the clock is indeed made out of wood. A lot of people ask me, a clock almost entirely made out of wood, how does that work? And it works surprisingly well. So yeah, they actually don't really need that much maintenance. So it is almost entirely made out of wood. That means that the plates are made out of wood, the top, and then the gears are made out of brass, the axles are made out of steel, and then because they use lantern pinions, some of the some of the parts of the lantern pinions are also made out of wood, usually the big ones. And the axles, they don't really run inside of the wood because that would give a lot of wear. So you can actually see that there are like brass inserts, which in this case it is like a tiny brass tube, but even in some cases it's just a plate of brass that they banded around an axle and then jammed in there. Another typical thing for a Black Forest clock is the weight that you can see here. There's a huge difference in between the weights. This one, the smaller one, is for the chime, and this is for the main movement. And as for the pendulum, it's usually a very simple pendulum like this one. A really fine steel rod, and then a brass disc. So let me get this clock off the wall, and then we will take a look at the back side, the business side. So here we have the back side of the Black Forest clock, or the business side. So here we can see the partition disc for the chime, the pendulum leader, the two gear trains. This is main movement. You can see it ends in Yansha. Instead of a suspension spring, this just has a bracket. So your pendulum hooks straight onto this, which basically means that you do lose a bit of power during friction, but as you saw, the main movement has quite a big weight, so that's okay. Yeah, and this then is of course with the partition disc is the gear train of the chime. Here you can see on the sprocket wheel, you can see those pins which lift this up which here you have a transfer from horizontal to vertical. So if this goes back, this lifts or moves it on the side, and bam, there you have the gong. Yeah, and here you can see like the nice big bell spring to push the hammer back into position. Yeah, that's basically about it. You can see this one at one point got reinforced. I think the movement at one point was a bit crooked. That's why they probably reinforced it with some brass bars. Usually it doesn't really like that. But yeah, like I said before, these clocks are really easy to maintain. It's just like the pins of the lantern pinions that sometimes have some rust on them. But yeah, if they have rust on them, they probably need replacement. Sometimes, if it's just a light rust, you can use some products to get the rust off, or just like polish them. That works. But for the rest, yeah, usually they are really easy to maintain. So yeah, that was a look at the Black Forest clocks.